Hey everybody! Thank you for joining me today. So today's video, I'm trying something a little different. I am recording and doing the voiceover at the same time, so bear with me and let's get started. So we're using this sugar sketch that I have in the upper right hand corner, and you might have seen it in the very beginning of the video. You can always go back, pause it, get all your measurements, and then come join me at the table. But I am going to do something a little different today. So with this one, I've already pre-cut my diagonal piece where it's 1 1/4 by, this is going to be actually, yeah. So this is from here to here is the 5 inches, and then it's hard to see, but I've drawn a line on here so I can get the 3.5, and this will wind up being 3 3/4 on this line. Okay, so the great part about this is that Christy Marcotte has already figured out measurements, and so you don't have to figure out all the, like, how big this should be, how do I get this angle. She really does make it very simple. The only thing is just figuring out, for me, how to get 2 out of 1 sheet. And I was able to do that, thankfully, because these are stars. So it doesn't matter if they're upside down, which way it goes. It doesn't matter because of the pattern. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to go, I'm going to show you, I'm going to wind up cutting that. Now, these 2 pieces, I've already cut them to be 4 inches because I always cut my mats when I do a mat to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So that way when I put it on the card front, we have a border. Okay. Now the top 2 pieces, I could leave these big and just, like, you know, kind of overlap them and then call it a day. But we're going to do it says 2 5/8 on the top and the bottom. So that's what we're going to cut with this. Okay. So let me go ahead and bring out my cutter. So on this one, I'm going to keep the nice non-cut side, and we're going to go to 2 5/8 and cut that. And then we're going to cut along. I try to use a pencil that would make it stand out. I used this purple pencil that you see here. And I'm just going to line it up on the metal edge, making sure to follow that line. And if I'm a little bit shy, I can always take my pencil eraser and just boop, boop, boop. And then anywhere that I cut and it's a little, you can always just use your sanding block. And there you go. Alright, so now we have all our pieces cut. You know, normally I don't show you all the cutting part because I like the videos to go a little bit faster. But on this one, because it's so many pieces, I wanted to show you each step what I was doing. Alright, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. Alright, so I always use my wet glue only because it allows me some time to pick this back up and move it around if I needed to. And I had it open for a little bit, so it decided to kind of dry up, but we'll be okay. So right now I'm going to place this where I have a nice 1/8 of an inch border around all 3 sides. And then when I put this one on, we're going to do the same. And if for some reason I didn't cut enough, then I would just overlap it. But see, this is going to end up being right on the money. All right, so let's do this. All right. And I just do tape on the edges and then right down the middle. And I just put, that's where I put the glue, really, is where I put the tape. It all depends on, like, if I'm working on like a scrapbook page or something like that, then sometimes I might, you know, put the glue all over. But when I'm dealing with like thin papers like these, sometimes I just like to keep it just where I put the tape. Now, on this, there's a little section right here next to where the circle is, where you're going to see the seam. I don't like seeing seams, so that's why I always have my peel-offs available. All these little bitty pieces that I save sometimes, and it's like, why are you saving these? This is why I'm saving these. Because I can put this right over that edge and then fold this over. Okay? Because this other side, we're not going to need. Because that's where this is going to go. And so now it's covered and you have no idea it doesn't continue on underneath that piece. So let's put this down. So leave a comment down below if you guys prefer it this way. Doing it this way will make the videos a little bit longer because obviously I'm doing it in real time. If you prefer where I record and then speed it up, I can do that as well. Do a little mixture. Doesn't always have to be one way or the other. All right. Just making sure we got it all lined up. And then we're going to go ahead and get our card base. Now this is going to be 8 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we're just going to fold it in half. Usually I've already pre-scored, but for some reason, and I don't remember why, but the ones I had pre-done up, I can't find. So I just real quickly cut this and then got ready for the video. And sometimes if it's super thick cardstock, this one isn't too bad. I think this one might be Nina, the 80-pound, which is still a little bit heavier than some of the cheaper brands. So it doesn't take much, but I like to do it like that so that way it stays flat better or more closed. Okay, so let's get our piece on here. Now this is the specialty paper from the, I kept calling it the Nuvo paper. It's from Tonic Studios. And whenever I think of Tonic or this particular items, I always think of Nuvo because that's part of Tonic as well. And because this is specialty paper, I am going to put more glue down because it has a little bit of texture. It's not really mirrored, but it still has texture in the paper. Ooh, almost put that upside down. Did you see that? So we're going to lay this down and try to lay it evenly so we have a nice border all around the sides. Now, do you see how that's moving around? I don't know if you guys were able to pick that up. But that's what that glue does. It gives you just that little bit of time to be able to move it around if you need it to. And then once it sticks, it ain't moving, okay? You don't have to worry about it lifting, none of that. Now for the sentiment, I'm using Another Year Wiser. And what I did, I don't know if it might be, well, it's probably hard to see. Let me grab this because this is the set that it came from. Okay, so I'm using this sentiment, Another Year Wiser. And what I did was I used purple tape. You can use washi tape, however you need to. And I masked all the areas for the words I didn't want to get inked. So instead of it going across with wiser underneath, I was able to do it in a stack. That way it would fit right on my circle punch. So you don't always have to cut up. I know sometimes you'll see people in videos cut up their stamps. If you're uncomfortable with cutting it, just mask it and you'll be able to get exactly what you want. And then on this one, I'm going to actually because this is what happens. It sits out and then before I know it, it's dried up. We're going to create a little banner. All right. And then, so if I put it like right there, I'm just going to cut probably like that much off. Just a little bit. So that way when I put this over top, that'll be able to go right there. Okay. Alrighty, we're almost done. And it really didn't take long. I think the longest part for me was just figuring out my cuts, especially for, you know, getting the funky piece, we'll call it, kind of figured out. But otherwise, everything went down pretty easy. Too much glue. Thankfully, it dries clear. And then we're just going to flip this over and add a few foam squares because they're right here at my desk. And they're starting to get low, so might as well use them until they're done. I don't like feeling like I have like open spaces sometimes. Okay. So we're going to take the backings off. Now, I'm going to give you another tip. This is your first time joining me. This is your second tip of the day. When using foam, just like, ooh, that's a little bit too much, but just like with your tape, when you're adding glue, if you add glue to the foam, if for some reason you need to move it, this will also give you more time. Because some foams, as soon as you put it down, if you don't put it in the right spot, it doesn't matter. That's the right spot today. You know what I mean? So like right now, I'm able to play and kind of move it to go exactly where I want it to. And then I'm going to press down. Once you press down, that's a wrap. But there you go. I like that. All right. Now, to finish it off, let's close up our glue because we don't want to, like I said, have it dry up on us. We're going to use this Nuvo drop. This is Dream Drop, and it's the golden shimmer. This is really pretty. And what I do is, like on these cards, I'll use the lines, the plaid, to try and even out my enamel dots that I'm basically creating. So we got one there, then I'm going to put one here, and then I'm going to put one right about here. All right, and then now live, you guys will get to see exactly what I do with the tap. So you're just going to go tap, tap, and there you go. Isn't it pretty? Now right now you see more of the white, but once it dries, I'm not kidding, it gives you a little bit more of the gold. Now this one isn't as dry because I literally just did it before I started recording, and I wish I could show it to you better in the lights. But the shimmer in it is really pretty, and it's subtle, you know what I mean? In person, it'll have a great feedback. And then I want to show you on here. You can see in the words some like black spots. That's from me really testing it out, but it didn't bother me. It almost looked like I was writing it, and it may have gotten a little bit smeared. Have you ever worked with like certain gel inks and your finger swipes it? That's what it looked like to me. So I was like, oh, that almost looks more handwritten, you know? So I left it, and then I learned, and then I cleaned the stamp before I actually stamped it down. So we got one that's super clean and one that was sort of like my tester. And there you have it. So 2 cards, and I used 1 sheet of paper for each pattern. So this was 1 6x6, 1 6x6, and 1 6x6 sheet. And we got 2 cards. So just imagine, say you liked the pattern, you liked how this looked, and you wanted to work through some of your 6x6 paper collections. You can do one of this with each of your collections and probably still have plenty of paper for other designs. Okay, so try it out. This is one of my favorites. I love this sketch, and I'll probably be doing it more often actually, because I really do like how it comes out, even with all the different patterns. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you please hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Leave a comment down below. I would so appreciate it. And I will see you guys with our next video. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.